everybody, I bow to the love and the light that is absolutely in you. Lisa A. Romano here, the Breakthrough Life Coach. And today I got an email from a woman by the name of Aisha, and she has written and asked me to do a video just on codependency. And she's outlined a dynamic that I have the permission to share with you, and then I will go into discussing what I think might be happening in her relationship. And I hope it helps you out there. She writes, "Dear Lisa, I love your channel. I finally know what is wrong with me. Can you do a video just on codependency and help me understand why my boyfriend and I have such a hard time staying on the same page? When I am up, he is down, and when I am down, he is up. It's just weird, like we're always playing mind games. Is there help for us? Love, Aisha." Aisha, it's very common what you're describing. So your first question was about codependency, so let's talk about it. Codependency implies that my mood is very much affected by the mood of someone else. So that means that if my husband comes home from work and I see that he's upset, and maybe I was high flying, maybe I was in a really good mood, but the minute I notice that my husband is not happy, my mood will come down. So when you're codependent, you're unable to hold on to your emotional set point. Your emotional set point is very, it feels like your center is like a feather in the wind. So you're very much affected by the moods of other people, by the opinions of other people. It's hard for you to hold on to yourself. You have tremendous self-doubt. You worry what other people are thinking about you. So you're worrying, and you also tend to take things very, very personally. So if your boyfriend has an attitude, you will presume that it's something that you said, or it's something that you did. You will not only presume you are the reason he's upset, but you will also presume that you have to make him feel better. So Aisha, that's probably what's happening, in your relationship in terms of your moods, because you haven't anchored yourself in your true self yet. So why does this happen? People who are codependent, it is absolutely responsible for lots of drama in our lives, and so oftentimes we're not even aware that we're codependent. So codependents are usually very kind-hearted people. They tend to be nurturing people. They tend to be highly empathetic. Codependent people have a natural tendency towards peace. They want people to get along. They are very much worried about what people are doing and where they're going and how they feel. But the problem is when that crosses the line, and then, that becomes your way of living, your way of being, worrying about everybody, and you don't make the list. Like, you're not worried about yourself. You never matter. It is always about someone else. This morning I was at, I'm moving into my another office soon, and I was out shopping for curtains for the office, and I was listening to an older woman with a younger woman, and I was thinking, wow, I thought to myself, the older woman's definitely codependent. I cannot tell you how catering she was to this younger woman that she was with, that really had no appreciation for how this older woman was trying to help her pick out curtains. She was short with this older woman. She was impatient. She was rude. I would say even obnoxious. And the older woman just kept saying, well, what about this? And then what about this? Oh, I understand. And what about that? And the older woman really, what I was waiting for was I was waiting for the older woman to like push her back a little bit and say, I don't have to stand here. I'm 75 years old, and I'm standing here in, Bed Bath & Beyond. I've been on my feet all day. I'm tired. And, every time I offer you a suggestion, you bite my head off publicly. It's a little embarrassing, but that didn't happen. So in my head, I'm saying, definitely, in my opinion, a codependent woman, highly empathetic, cares about the needs of this younger woman, is highly, highly attentive to her needs. And it was literally like this younger woman was blind to the fact that there was this older woman there holding on to this cart, doing what she could to stand upright, following this woman through these, how the aisles are so tight in some of these stores. Here she was trying to maneuver this big cart, had lots of stuff in it, and this younger woman was just like a butterfly all over the store, picking out curtains. And there was really no appreciation by this other woman. So in my opinion, through my eyes, what I saw was a codependent dynamic. where it was all about the needs of this other person. Now, it's possible that, in that situation, it could have been, a very dramatic situation. Maybe this younger woman needed to move out of her house or whatever. But certainly there was this sense that this relationship was not in balance. I did not see, and I watched, because I'm a people watcher. I waited for this young woman to be kind, to be sensitive, to be, somewhat understanding of the fact that this older woman is trying to follow her through these aisles, and there wasn't an ounce of that. So, codependents are really nice people. So it's very important that if you think that you're a codependent, take a deep breath. It means that you're sensitive. It means that you're kind. It means that you have high empathy. But you also have to know that being kind and having high empathy, being loving unconditionally, tending to see the good in people, again, being very forgiving, being loyal to a fault sometimes, does predispose you to abuse, because you're going to attract people that need a lot of attention. And what we have to do as codependents is develop personal boundaries, where we have an inventory list. One of the things I would like you to do is every day, make sure that you're checking in with self. Am I listening to myself? Do I know what I need today? Do I know what I want today? What do I want to do today? It's not natural for a codependent to say, what do I need? How does this make me feel? So make sure every day as you go about your life, you're checking in with self throughout the day. Take an inventory of your relationships. It's very, very important that you know what the mood is of the relationships that you are in. That'll also help you moving forward. We'll do another video. I have a few videos on boundaries on YouTube right now, but I plan on doing another one. Will coincide with this video. Aisha has asked me specifically about this funky dynamic that takes place between a codependent man and a codependent female, where we have one who is avoidant and one who is pursuing. And avoidants generally fear being suffocated, but they want to be nurtured as well. And so a needy codependent who is seeking approval will pursue a codependent who is more avoidant in his love style. He wants you there, but he's not comfortable with allowing himself to be open. He's very afraid of, we're talking about a man and a woman because of Aisha's situation, so I just hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. So when we have an avoidant male, someone who's afraid, to let his guard down, and we have a female that is pursuing that connection, what'll happen is the male will keep pulling away. And this is what happens in a codependent dynamic. And then what happens is when Aisha gets tired of chasing him, just annoyed, just tired, maybe something he says ticks her off, what will happen is Aisha will begin to withdraw. And then the avoidant personality, the avoidant codependent, will start to want to chase Aisha because he wants to feel seen. So he wants to feel seen, but he doesn't want to risk feeling vulnerable. It's a very common dynamic. So unfortunately what's happening is all below the veil of consciousness. So what we have to do, in this case, Aisha, is we would have to hope that you and your boyfriend both come a little bit higher above the veil. So if there's any chance for this relationship to work, your boyfriend will have to understand that he tends to avoid, being vulnerable with you. So he's going to have to learn to be a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more trusting, and that starts with you. That starts with you learning to hold on to yourself. You stop chasing approval. You stop allowing his mood to affect your mood. You maintain some sense of self. You start exerting boundaries, emotional boundaries, personal boundaries, and even external boundaries with people. Do you like the way he's talking to you? If not, you have to set a boundary. Do you like the way he's engaging you? If not, don't engage. Did you guys make plans and he suddenly changed those plans? Well, you have a right to exert a boundary about that. Does he want to go someplace that you don't want to go? You've got to open your mouth saying, I'm really not too keen on going there. You can go, but I don't think I want to go. I'm not going to go. That's a boundary. See, what happens is, Aisha, if you keep chasing him, then you are definitely walking all over your boundaries. You're not checking in with self. So let's say he comes home in a bad mood and you were in a good mood. So he comes home in a bad mood. So you have a choice to make. Are you going to jump in and fix it, or are you going to hold on to yourself? Are you going to chase him and beg him to talk to you and beg you to tell him? And then when he doesn't tell you, or he says there's nothing wrong and he keeps avoiding you because he's fearing being suffocated by you, even though you're just trying to be nice to him and even though you're just trying to let him know that you're there for him, are you going to keep pushing him? Are you going to keep chasing him? Or are you going to go back to your own set point? Are you going to hold on to yourself? Are you going to learn to allow your boyfriend to have his own space and have his own feelings? Are you going to stop trying to fix it? If you can learn to stop trying to fix it, if you can learn to stop taking responsibility for how he feels, if you can learn to stop pursuing him, that doesn't mean you have to break up. What it means is that if you can learn to maintain your boundary, if you can see that he's, maybe he's slipping down the rabbit hole and you ask him once, you want to talk about it. If he says no, stay where you are. Do not pursue him. Ask yourself, am I making him a cup of tea because I want to engage with him and he doesn't want to engage with me? Is this a codependent action? Do I have an agenda? Am I trying to be responsible for his feelings? Do I want him to see me? Do I want to feel, sorry about my dogs, dear ones, do I want him to engage with me? Am I feeling abandoned? What is this really about? The more you're able to identify why you're doing what you're doing, the more control you'll have over it. So what I would like you to do, Aisha, is this. Be aware of yourself first. Ask yourself some serious questions. What are my boundaries? What do I feel comfortable with? What do I don't feel comfortable with? Am I comfortable chasing him? If I'm not, hold on to myself. Am I comfortable with being in a relationship where I have to chase after someone's approval? If not, it's time to reevaluate your relationship. Am I comfortable with someone who is constantly shutting down? You have to reevaluate your relationship. Sometimes what will happen is when you give someone who is avoidant and withdraws from you some space, what will happen is they'll start coming around. At that point, hopefully you can have some type of a conversation. Sometimes our partners are just not open to changing. I was in this type of a relationship, my first marriage, and I thought it was like I had found gold when I realized that I was codependent. And I write about it in The Road Back to Me. I ran home and I told my husband, I know what's wrong with this. I know why we do this. We do this because we're codependent. And I thought it was great information. And he told me he wasn't interested in changing. He had no interest in changing. So there I was. I had to make a choice because that meant if he wasn't going to change, that meant I was going to have to chase him the rest of my life to feel any type of connection. Or I was going to have to stay here and just let him stay out here and not feel connected to him, not feel seen by him, and be in a marriage that was not growing. So Aisha, I do believe that two codependents that are in a relationship, and I'm not talking about a codependent and a narcissist, where a narcissist has no compassion for the codependent. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a relationship between two codependents who have different codependent, relating styles, right? I do think it's possible for those relationships to work, but not unless both people are willing to come above the veil of consciousness and see themselves and work on their own childhood issues. Because if you're codependent, whether you're a pursuer or you're a withdrawer, you retreat when people start, wanting to connect with you. There's a childhood wound there. There's an issue there that's unresolved. I've had male clients who've told me that their mothers smothered them as little boys. Where mothers made them their little husbands because they had such dysfunctional relationships with their husbands that they turned their sons into these little husbands. And so now these men fear being suffocated. And so what will happen is they'll attract a female because they're heterosexual and they want to feel bonded with a woman. But the more the woman wants to be connected to him, the more suffocated he feels. And he's really reacting to the way he felt when he was a child. He's really feeling the pressure of his mother's own suffocation. Now, if a man, let's say if that's the situation with you and your boyfriend, like just for argument's sake, if that is something that your boyfriend is willing to look at, or if your boyfriend avoids interaction because he's been downloaded by perhaps the men in his family to presume and believe that men that show emotions aren't really men. and that it's not manly to show emotions. It's not cool to show emotions. If your boyfriend has suffered an attachment trauma and he was beaten when he asked for a hug, or he was starved when he asked for food, or he was made to feel like he wasn't good enough, then he feels unsafe with sharing himself. Now, I'm not talking about a narcissist. I'm talking about a codependent. If you and your boyfriend are willing to look at these types of wounds head on and talk about them and trust them, and if you are trustworthy and he is trustworthy and there is an absolute commitment made to self-respect, then I do believe you and your boyfriend have a shot. So I hope, Aisha, you understand a little bit more about codependency as a result of childhood trauma. Some codependents become people pleasers, some codependents become avoidant, but they also crave attention. They just fear feeling suffocated, and that all goes back to, or engulfed, and that all goes back to childhood. So codependency is not our fault. Very oftentimes women are very nurturing and they're people pleasing, and they tend to take care, and our culture tells us that this is the way we should be. So oftentimes it's easy to spot a codependent female, but make no mistake, there are plenty of people pleasing, nurturing, empathetic, codependent men out there too. And there are avoidant females and there are avoidant men. It goes both ways. And this also shows up in gay relationships as well. Same dynamic. It doesn't matter if it's a heterosexual relationship or a gay relationship. Codependent dynamics are real and the result of childhood trauma. So Aisha, thank you for your questions, and I look forward to you responding to me either in a private email or here on our channel. Namaste, everybody. I bow to the love and the light that is absolutely in you. Namaste.